Hey, Shalom, Makim Shalom, Yabashima Shabrakatham, Anak Nawaha Ibar Yasha Allah Walakim, La Adam Kal Shawai Baracha Wakaksha Yabashima Shah. Hey, we the Hebrew Israelites coming to you week in and week out through the Spirit and power of Yabashima Shah to preach to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, Haitians, and Israelite foreigners. Repent ye, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Call Halayim La, Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua, Bashim Chak Kodash, Wamashana Kabadim Dukoyim Nawam Lakim Shah Yashalah Zakoyim Chag out of wall. Wachasa, Washalamam, Wabarakim, Labachaya, Shahagawi, Shalom. So our praise to the Most High Yahweh, which means He exists. Bahashem, in the name Yahweh Shai delivers. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Israel, the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and mercy, peace, and blessings to the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom, which means peace. All right, so I just want to go into the topic of the word integrity. All right, and it's the common definition. It says the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles, moral uprightness. All right, similar. It says honesty, uprightness, probity, rectitude, honor, ethics, morals, righteousness, morality, nobility, virtue, decency, fairness, sincerity, truthfulness, trustworthiness. All right, and the second one says the state of being whole and undivided. All right, the house of David is unified in unity. All right, it has integrity. All right, it's not it's unbreachable. Okay. Right here it says nobility. It says the quality of being noble in character, mind, birth, or rank. All right, because the nation of Yasha Allah is nobility. All right, and we carry ourselves in a very we basically carry ourselves in integrity. All right, because the Lord made us to be upright. All right, on this side it's going to be the elect, 144K, and the rest of the 1/3. You see, but in the kingdom, we're all going to be honest and held with honor and have morality about ourselves. All right. But I wanted to go further into this where it says integrity. It says firm adherence to a code of especially moral or artistic values and corruptibility and unimpaired condition, soundness, the quality or state of being complete or undivided, completeness. It says having all necessary parts, elements, or steps. All right, so the elect, each member of the elect is going to have completeness about themselves, and what completes us is this word. All right, so let's go into a couple of precepts. We're going to go to Moshalim, also Proverbs chapter 19 and verse 1. And also, well, I'll just get it right here. This is Proverbs 19 and 1. It says, better is the poor that walketh in his integrity than he that is perverse in his lips and is a fool. All right. And we're going to get this word integrity, which is tham. All right. In the Hebrew, it would be tham, which means integrity, completeness, fullness, innocence, simplicity, integrity. It says integrity of mind, innocence. All right. Basically being blameless. It says without any evil. All right. So going back to the definition, the common definition, it said sincerity. You see, without any evil purpose. You see, the elect's going to do what's right because that's what's in them, and they know that that's the correct things to do. You see. But let's go into this. It says, better is the poor that walketh in his integrity than he that is perverse in his lips and is a fool. So physically, we're poor, but spiritually, we are rich. All right. And walking in our integrity is going to be better than walking contrary to the scripts and being a fool, because those that walk in their integrity are going to be blessed. All right, and we got various different examples of that. This is the Hoyam chapter 1. Also Psalm chapter 1 and verse 1. It says, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, those that are dishonest, that walk contrary to the scriptures, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, Salah. but his delight is in the law of the Lord. Going back to the definition, those that had strong adherence to a code of ethics, and that's the law of the Lord. And in his law doeth he meditate day and night. You see, so the elect always has the Lord's mind, or the Lord's word on their mind, all right, because they have integrity, all right, because it said that in Sirach chapter 6 that you know, if the word was constantly in your mind, you know, the Lord would keep you rooted. And the elect knows that by being rooted, you see, they're going to be covered in that day, you see. But yeah, this is a example of those that walk in their integrity. They're going to be blessed. All right. Another example is Job 42. And just going into the story of Job, you know, Job was a well-off man of the nation of Israel, you see, but the Lord took those things from him, put him through adversity, you see, to test his integrity. You see, and throughout that, he held fast to his integrity. All right, and in the end, he was blessed. It says, so the Lord blessed the latter end of Job more than his beginning. So he was better in the Lord increased him. He was better in the latter end, which is the later part of his life. It says, for he had 14,000 sheep and 6,000 camels and 1,000 yoke of oxen and 1,000 she asses. He also had 7 sons and 3 daughters, and he called the name of the first Jemima. All right, and in the Hebrew that would be Yam Yamah, which is day by day, Yam Yamah. This is in the second, and the name of the second Keziah, and the name of the third Corinne Hapuch, which would be so like it would be Quran Hapawak. Quran Hawapak. So like Quran Hapawak. All right. And that basically means it says Quran Hapawak. All right, horn of antimony. All right. But just the point, you know, his latter end was blessed because he walked in his integrity. You see? Next precept. Proverbs, also Mashalim chapter 11 and verse 3, it says, the integrity of the upright shall guide them. All right. But the perverseness of transgressors shall destroy them. All right. So having strong moral principles is what's going to guide the hopeful elect, which has guided the hopeful elect. All right. So is a good example of that is the whole vid situation. You see, those that took the yob, you know, they're having complications. A lot of them is dying. You see, they're getting different ailments. You see, and they're out here shamefaced and confused for shamefaced for the wrong reasons, and they're confused because they don't have any answers for what's going on. You see, having those strong moral principles, specifically of the scriptures, is what's going to guide the elect. All right, and let me get a precept. This is Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 4. It says, but ye that did cleave unto the Lord your power are alive, every one of you this day. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments. But and going back to verse 4, it says, but ye that did cleave unto the Lord your God are alive, every one of you this day. See, so those that cleave to the Lord, just speaking on that whole vid situation, you know, brothers are still good. You know, the hopeful elect is still good. You know, and that's because we're making the Lord our habitation. You see, and our baratazah we continue. All right, but keep going. It says, behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my power commanded me. The ye should do so in the land where the ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them. You see, you got to do them. You can't just read about them. You can't talk about them. You got to do them. For this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. And I'm gonna get this word wisdom, which is it will be chakama. All right. Chakama says wisdom, skill in war, wisdom in administration, shrewdness, wisdom, prudence in religious affairs, wisdom, ethical and religious. All right. Ethical and religious. All right. It says in a good sense, skillful. All right. Skill in war, because this is a spiritual battle. So using this skill in this spiritual battle is using the skill in this spiritual battle is that wisdom, which in turn is that integrity holding us by the hand. You see? Because we know that that's what's going to keep us alive, and that's the correct thing to do. All right, this is Sirach chapter 20 and verse 32. It says, necessary patience in seeking the Lord is better than he that leadeth his life without a God. You see, so it's better to suffer patiently, all right, and seek the Lord versus someone that don't have that that don't have the wisdom. You see, because if you don't have the wisdom, then you're not gonna have integrity, and if you're not doing the right thing because you don't have any morals, then you're gonna be taken by the wiles of the devil. All right, and that's ultimately going to lead to taking the charagma. All right. This is Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 1. It says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. All right, so faith is the evidence that we have for our beliefs. Verse 2, for by the elders obtain a good report. Through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of the Most High, so that the things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. You see, because they were made through faith. Verse 4, by faith Abel offered unto the Most High a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous, the Most High testifying of his gifts, and by it he being dead yet speaketh. All right, so Abel offered a more excellent gift to the Most High because he had integrity. You see, he had a strong sense of morals. You see, going back to that story, Cain gave he didn't give a righteous sacrifice. All right, and that's because he didn't have any integrity. All right, Abel had integrity. You see, and his faith is what drove him. His faith is what drove him to have those works. You see, because our faith, we show our faith through our works. You see, but it starts with the faith, because without the faith, you're not going to have any integrity. You're not going to be able to please the Lord. As verse 6 says, by faith, Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found because the Most High had translated him. For before his translation, he had this testimony that he pleased the Most High. But without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to the Most High must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. All right, and that diligence is the works that come with that come with the faith. All right, but without the faith, you're not gonna have any integrity. You see, and if you don't have any moral principles that you stand by, you're gonna fall for anything. Like the sand in the world. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. All right. So this is James. This is James chapter 2, verse 26. It says, for as the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead also. You see, so you have to have the faith in order to have integrity. You see, and we understand what the importance of integrity is. You know, without integrity, you know, you're going to fall by the wayside. But I want to actually get an example of integrity. This is Daniel Allah chapter 3 and verse 11. Also Daniel 3 and 11. It says, and whoso, starting verse 10, It says, Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth, that he should be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. All right, and you have, this is what's going to happen in this day to come as well. You see, you're going to have the elect that's not going to bow the knee. You see, you're going to have Esau trying to come with that great wrath, trying to get the nation of Yasha'Allah, Israel, to bow the knee and take that charagma. It says, Then Nebuchadnezzar in his rage and fury commanded to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up. Now if ye be ready at what time ye shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that power that shall deliver you out of my hands? It says, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. So they like, well, hold on. It's a lot. I'm going to read it in the NLT. It says, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego reply, O Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you. KJV, we have no need to answer you in this matter. So they're basically saying that they don't have to explain themselves, you see, because you know, in that type of situation, you don't have to, you don't have to answer to anybody but the Lord, man. You see, and that's the situation they was in at that particular moment. All right, I'm gonna read again. It says, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our power whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. All right, so basically saying, like, if it's the Lord's will, he'll deliver them out of the fire, but if not, then they still not going to serve those idols. You see, because these were men of integrity. They knew that the right thing to do is to serve the Lord. Going back to Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 4. Shema Yasha'Allah Yahweh al-Hayyin Yahweh Echad. You see, we have no other power than the Lord. The Lord is the only one. It says, but if if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it wont to be heated. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, and their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished, and rose up in haste, and spake and said unto his counselors, Did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, True, O king. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt, and the form of the fourth is like the Son of the Most High. All right, so well, I'm gonna keep reading. It says, Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace, and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth out of the midst of the fire. And the princes, governors, and the captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was an hair of their head singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. So they wasn't even touched by the perils that Nebuchadnezzar was bringing. You see, showing you that the Lord is always in control. And those that sincerely hope on His mercy, He always comes through for them. But they held fast to their integrity. They were men of integrity. You see, and their integrity upheld them through the Spirit. All right. But going back to James chapter 2 and verse 26, it says, For as the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead also. All right, so just believing isn't going to be good enough. You see, it has to be works as well as that faith. All right, because the faith is the foundation for that integrity, which is the works. You show your faith through your works by showing that you have integrity by your actions. All right. This is the Nahum chapter 26. In verse 1, it says, Judge me, O Lord, for I have walked in mine integrity. I have trusted also in the Lord, therefore I shall not slide. All right. And that's King David. You see, and in this time the elect is going to have conducted themselves in their integrity. All right. And they also going to trust in the Lord. All right, because of their faith and their integrity, the elect isn't going to slide. All right. Got a precept that's going into that. This is actually, I want to get it another version. Or no, I wanted to get the definition of slide. It says slip, slide, totter, shake, to slip, sliding, to cause or to make shake or totter. So the elect isn't going to be moved. All right, and they're not going to be moved because they put their trust in the Lord. This is Mattathiah, also Matthew chapter 7 and verse 24. It says, Therefore whosoever hear these sayings of mine and doeth them, you see, because you can hear them and believe, and when you do it, you see that shows that you have integrity because you're doing what's right and showing that you have a quality of standing on moral principles. It says, And doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man which built his house upon a rock, and that rock being Hamashiach Yahushua. And the rains descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and that house is that man. And the rains, the winds, and the floods is the persecution, the destruction you see in that great wrath that Esau is coming with. And everyone that hears these sayings of mine and doeth them not shall be likened unto a foolish man which built his house upon the sand, and the rains descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. You see, so that house was moved, that man was moved, and ultimately being destroyed because he didn't found himself on that rock. You see, he wasn't a man of integrity. All right. So I also wanted to get James chapter 1 and verse 22. It says, But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. So you deceive yourself by just being a hearer, and you're not actually doing the works, because that's not showing integrity. For if any be a hearer of the word, not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass, which is a mirror. For he beholdeth himself and goeth his way, and straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was. You see, he forgot to keep working on himself. He stopped examining himself. You see, because in this walk, we have to examine ourselves. It says, but whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty and continueth therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed. And that's why it's important to examine yourself. All right, it says continue therein. We got to continue to examine ourselves, what we can do better, what we can take away, what we can add to put us in a better situation, to put on as the elect. And basically, I'm gonna get the definition going into the law of liberty. Liberty. It says liberty to do or to omit things having no relationship to salvation. You see, so those that do this, add the things that will help with salvation and omit the things that will not help with salvation. That's showing integrity. All right. And that's what the elect is going to do. It says, but whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty, which is adding and taking away the things that pertain to salvation and don't pertain to salvation. You see, walking spiritually and continue therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work. A man that has integrity by doing the work, showing his faith through his works. This man shall be blessed in his deed. All right. Also wanted to grab 2nd Ezra, also Isaiah, chapter 2 and verse 47. All right, because going back to the definition of integrity, got it written down here. It says the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles, also moral uprightness. All right. So this is 2nd Ezra, chapter 2 and verse 47. And also going to Matthew chapter 7 and verse 24 and 25 says, so he answered and said unto me, it is the Son of the Most High, whom they have confessed in the world, and they being the elect. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord. And they stood stiffly because they had that integrity. They stood stiffly on that rock. And being rooted in that rock, starting with the faith and their integrity, you see, they weren't able to be moved. All right. I'm going to read it again. It says, so he answered and said unto me, it is the Son of the Most High, whom they have confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord. All right. And going into them strong moral principles, when you go into that word strong, basically being stiff, standing strong for those principles of Hamashiach Yahushua. And because the elect did that, this is what the Lord is going to do. This is Revelation chapter 3 and verse 10. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience. So because the elect has held fast to their integrity, it says, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation when that charagma is dropped. You see, when Esau come with that great wrath trying to either get people charagma'd up, or if you don't want to take it, then to get those individuals killed. The Lord is going to keep those from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. All right. So because the elect had that strong integrity and they were founded on that rock and they stood stiffly for the name of the Lord is going to keep them in the hour of temptation. You see? And truly, going back to, I'm going to get it again. Let's see what integrity means again. Integrity means, integrity, completeness. All right, completeness. So going back, going to Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 11, because this is what integrity is. It says, put on the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. All right. And the whole armor is not just the sword. It's not just the helmet. It's not just the shield. You see, it's the whole armor. Cause that shows completeness. You see, and having integrity is having the whole armor. All right. So put on the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of darkness, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. You see, and that's not just words. That's legit. All right. Because you got rulers on the left-hand side that's heavy into witchcraft that are targeting those that they're really targeting the elect. You see, Satan said that or Salak, the scriptures say that Satan desires to sift Peter as wheat, you see, but that scripture can be applied to the elect, you see. So it's spiritual wickedness in high places that's up against the elect. All right. It says, wherefore take unto you the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand, standing therefore having your loins girt about with truth, having your breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the Most High. So you got to put on the whole armor because that shows completeness. All right. All right, we're going to Bon Sirach, chapter 2 and verse 5. It says, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. All right, so in the end, the elect is going, the elect will have held fast to their integrity, and they're going to withstand all adversities through the Spirit. You see, and when you look at that, you don't want the metal that when you put it in the fire, it melts and crumbles up. You want that metal that withstands all that pressure. You see, because that shows that it has integrity. You see, and integrity is doing the right thing in the face of danger, regardless of the circumstance, because that's going to show the quality of being honest and holding fast to your principles. All right, and it's going to show that completeness, showing that metal, that gold that was tried in the fire is good, you see, and the elect is going to be good through the Spirit. You see, so I brought this out. It was edifying. Call Layam La Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Bashim Kagadash. Hey, double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth from rule well. Hey, much respect to you, brothers out there, presenting this truth with all righteousness and sincerity. Shalom, shalom.